Woah is all I can say, as an NBA insider just revealed he thinks the Celtics should bring back what I would consider a Boston Celtic legend. We'll tell you what this means and why it's probably not the way you're thinking right here on Celtics Digest. We appreciate you tuning in to today's show. I'm Jace Andrews, and we've got lots to talk about. I know most people don't think about Isaiah Thomas as a Celtics legend. However, for my fandom and at the age that he was a star in Boston, he was a pivotal part of my Celtics fandom, and I will always have a special place for IT in my heart. Let's go to the headline, though. Celtics insider believes Boston should bring back former All-star. And IT is not the same player that he was when he was with the Boston Celtics, nor really was the same player ever after. And kind of as a backstory to this, we have to give the kind of bad story, I would have to say. Now, this trade never worked out for both sides, but at the same time, let's discuss it. At the time of Isaiah Thomas's height as a Boston Celtic, they decided to trade him away, and they had a nagging hip injury they didn't feel comfortable with. He was looking for a big, brand new contract. The Celtics didn't want to give it to him, and they traded him for Kyrie Irving. Now, we know the history. Kyrie Irving came on, played with the Celtics, looked actually pretty decent, played with JB, and then said, oh yeah, I'm going to sign back when, people at that time liked him. We wanted him to come back. Doesn't sign back. Goes to the Brooklyn Nets. Boston boos him because we're a passionate fan base. And if you say you should come back, and then we like you at that time and you don't, whether it's for better or for worse, we're not going to be a happy fandom. And I wasn't happy either. And he steps on the leprechaun, steps on our midcourt logo, does all this stuff, and it really turned the table on Kyrie Irving for sure. Meanwhile, Isaiah Thomas. While the Celtics probably made the right decision trading him away, it still is an ugly taste in our mouths for trading away what was such a good and, in my opinion, loyal player. And while he did ask for a lot of money that really he wasn't going to get on the open market and probably the Celtics weren't going to offer him, it's a sight to be seen as well as what his career would look like if he did stay with the Celtics. That being said, let's go into the report starting with Ryan Stano of Celtics SI saying, quote, Thomas's hip injury that he played through in the 2016-17 season was never fixed properly, and his career was never the same. Despite all of this, one Celtics insider believes they should bring him back. Now, I'll preface with this. You're probably saying, why in the world would we bring back Isaiah Thomas as a player? That makes no sense. He has been out of the NBA for a year at this point. Yeah, he's still trying to get back in, but why are we bringing him back? That's where the story kind of takes a turn here and where I think it actually might be a good idea in a lot of lights. We continue on with the report going to Max Letterman of NBC Sports Boston saying, quote, I'd pay Isaiah Thomas to be a part of the organization, either as a player or on the coaching staff. I never felt right about how things turned out for IT, and bringing him back to Boston would be good karma, end quote. Which I 100% would agree with. I mean, as a player, I am not going to bring him back. Listen, he had an illustrious career playing since 2011 all the way to 2024, but since he left Boston, he has gone on to play for Cleveland, LA, Denver, Washington, New Orleans, LA again, Dallas, Charlotte, and Phoenix. He has been a journeyman and has never been the same Isaiah Thomas that you can even go back to in the 2017-2018 year in which Cleveland immediately moved off of him, giving him to the Los Angeles Lakers when he only played a combined 32 games that season. For the Celtics, though, we remember him in his prime. From the 2014-2015 season when we acquired him, he played the last 21 games of the season, averaged 19 points, to the great years of 2015 to 2016, the greatest year of his career, probably 2016 to 2017, where he was the driving force of the Boston Celtics. But he's not the same player anymore, and that is exactly why you really shouldn't bring him back as a player, especially when you think about the last time he played in the NBA was in 2024. Ryan Stan of Celtics SI saying, quote, Thomas played in the NBA during the 2023-2024 season with the Suns, and when he played, just 6 games. Now, he hasn't played more than 40 games in the league since the 2016-17 season with Boston, which is a key part. So you're not going to bring him back as a player, but let's focus on the other thing there. Bringing him back maybe potentially on the coaching staff. Well, the coaching staff, maybe or maybe not wants to bring him back. I think it'd be an interesting place. Just kind of finishing out, there's really no reason to bring him back as a player. Ryan Stano of Celtics Tie saying, quote, Thomas is now 36 years old and was out of the NBA last season. He has been trying as hard as he can to stay in the league, but his playing career is likely over. They wouldn't want to bring him back as a player, which is a fair point. So what is the option? Well, that's where you go to this. Maybe you add him to the coaching staff. Now, Ryan Stano saying adding Thomas to the coaching staff might not be a bad idea. He could be a quality control coach or something else as he transitions into his next phase of life. Those are some good options, but I pose another one. And while it is a different sport, I think the stance on it still stands true. Now, these are legend players, but some players who have a very big history with the current team, and we'll talk about one in Boston, they get kind of put on a contract where they're just helping out the team. And it's more of a, we like you, we want you around in that light. And that's kind of where we sit here with our similar situations. Hall of Famer David Ortiz. He works for the Boston Red Sox as a special assistant to the Fenway Sports Group. There's also a part with Ichiro Suzuki, where he has been an assistant to the chairman for the Seattle Mariners. So there's ways where you can kind of work on IT, have him bring into the department. Maybe you can have IT on the IT department. Ding. All right, bad joke. Either way, I think it would be a very good karma thing. And for me, I'm 23 years old. So if I go back to 2017, 2018 days where I'm literally in high school watching these guys, just kind of out of middle school, it was one of the better seasons I've gotten to watch as a Boston Celtics fan. And in a lot of ways, I credit Isaiah Thomas for kickstarting my full fandom into Boston. Now, I've always been a Celtics fan, but that season really kind of showed what the Celtics were like could be. And Isaiah Thomas, it spoke to me. And so it's a little bit of a love letter video to try and see if there's a way that he would want to come back. But in the same time, in the same light, that trade was hard, not just on the Celtics, but it was on Isaiah Thomas. You had a loyalty to him, and you said, he has a hip injury, they were going to pay him, and they traded him away. So would he even want to come back? That's a real question. Ryan Steno of Celtics Sports Illustrated saying, quote, "It's unclear if Thomas would want to return to Boston after the way they treated him. He made his hip injury worse while playing in the playoffs, and it ended up ruining his career. Then he gets traded for showing the organization loyalty." It's a fair point. What's to say that if Isaiah Thomas says, my hip is hard, it's hurt, I'm not going to play in that playoff series, which, you really needed him to win, so you want him there. Obviously, it didn't get you to the finals, but got you to LeBron once again. And he doesn't play that. Maybe his career is a different light. Maybe he's playing still right now. I mean, it's definitely a question for debate and an interesting one to kind of pose to a lot of Celtics fans. And so, while I don't see him ever coming back as a player, I do think it would be a very interesting situation and story, for sure, for Boston to bring him back in some way, whether it be on the coaching staff or maybe even just putting him onto the place where you can have him just work, maybe even just be in the organization. So I asked the question here, if you're still watching, let me know in the comment section. Would you like to see IT back with the Celtics in some fashion? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Personally, I would like to see him back. I know that's kind of it's probably more of a fan bias thing for me, just because I really enjoyed the time he was here in Boston. I think that he was unfairly treated when he was traded. Kyrie Irving, although he was a great player, was a very D-bag of a player, or a person rather, and so I'm like, I wouldn't mind trying to get that good karma back. Plus, Danny Ainge is gone. Brad Stevens, though, is his coach, and so there is a lot to kind of have connections here, and it just seems like the right thing to do, if possible. I don't think adding him to just adding him to a coaching staff, there's tons of roles out there. NBA coaching staffs are filled with so many people at this point. Why not just add him? I think it'd be such a good story, and we'll see. And NBA insiders are believing it as well. We will see you next time here, though, on Celtics Digest. We do appreciate you tuning in and watching the video. If you are here watching at the end of the video, you are obviously a Celtics diehard fan like I am. So go down there and hit that subscribe button if you have not already. But for now, we will see you next time here on Celtics Digest. Peace out.